Hello and welcome back to a Squirrel Plays. Today is going to be just a little bit different. I didn't really have any plans for this video and it wasn't on my schedule, but the reason we're here today is because of Nick Royer's comment on my earlier video about how I think 5e fails narration. Nick says, I found your channel through Old G, which if y'all don't know is Old Grognard Says. I highly recommend giving him a watch, and I couldn't agree with your takes more. I've been trying to build my own system for a while, and after Wizard of the Coast's attempts to steal everything, I've redoubled my efforts. The good news is, our friend Nick is working on his own TTRPG, so that's awesome. Also, he's another Old Grognard fan, and speaking of Old Grognard, if you could just stop growing and let me catch up.
That would be great.
The bad news, though, is at the end of the comment here. Unfortunately, my friends do like Marvel, and they just don't feel the need to switch systems. But I'm not having fun anymore. I don't know what to do. It's a bad spot to be in, and I'm sure a lot of us have been there before. So let's utilize the small community that we've made so far and give Nick some support. Gather around the old YouTube dumpster fire. Gather around the old YouTube campfire, and let's have a chat about how we can handle this in the best way possible. What do we know about Nick? I believe he's playing 5th edition, but I don't know whether or not he's the GM. Considering he's making his own TTRPG, I'm inclined to think he's the GM, but really, I guess it doesn't matter much. What matters is that Nick isn't having fun, and he doesn't know what to do. Well, what can you do? Do you just quit the table and find a new one? Do you try to address it? And if you do, how hard do you push to get things your way? If you're on the receiving end, how much should you bend to do what another player wants? All these are good questions and all have answers that will entirely depend on the table. But let's see what we can dig up anyway. In Nick's case, I guess the easy thing for him to do would be to just send his group this video, but the rest of us might not have that option. So for the rest of us, if you find yourself in this particular situation, this would be my 2 acorns on the matter. The very first thing I recommend you do is figure out what exactly is keeping you from having fun. Nobody can answer that question except you. Some questions you can ask yourself are as follows. Is there a specific player that is running the experience for you? If so, why? What is it exactly that that person does? Is the party as a whole running it for you? Again, if so, why? Is it because they're all joke characters and you want to be more serious? Or are you the joke character and all of them are too serious? Is the GM making things too difficult? Is the GM shutting down everything you do? Is the GM making things too easy? Does the GM refuse to challenge you? Is the game too slow and boring? Or do you find the game too silly with how it's played? For example, with all the spells in 5e, I would consider that game extremely silly. Now, there's a reason I want you to pinpoint exactly what about the game is bothering you. And that reason is when you approach your group and tell them that you're not having fun, you can tell them why. And if they know why, they might be able to help fix it. If there is a specific player running things for you, you might be surprised to find that the rest of the party was having similar feelings. If it's just the game as a whole, well, then that's another problem. But if there's just small things in it, then they might be able to homebrew something in it to keep it fun for you. Regardless, if you know what the problem is, then it's a whole heck of a lot easier to try and fix that problem. And as an added bonus, it'll help you know what to look for when you start shopping around for other TTRPGs. But here's the thing. If you're not having fun, it needs to be addressed. Reason being, if you don't address it, it's going to build up over time and it could lead to potentially terrible things. And to really drive that point home, I'll give you a personal example. In the campaign I'm currently running, which is unfortunately Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, we had a player that was giving me some problems. He wanted to fill every role possible and be the power player, while at the same time being a negative Nancy about everything because that's what his character would do. In reality, that's just kind of how he was. He felt like everything I did was to shut him down and he'd get upset. He'd say he wasn't, but we all knew he really was. Thing is though, outside of the game and away from the table, he was a great dude. He'd fire up a game in a heartbeat to play with you and he'd share memes and chit-chat. Honestly, he was a pretty cool dude. But because I didn't address it when I should have and instead just said, nah, I'll just suck it up since everyone else seems to be fine, things built up over time. I told myself that it was just me, and it was probably because I don't like 5th edition anyway, so I'm just being a grump. But as time went on, it got to the point where I absolutely dreaded the coming session. I hated planning for it because I felt like no matter what I did, this guy was going to get upset. I felt like I had to bend things to make him happy. I felt like I was walking on eggshells all the time. Things kept building up. I began to hate the game more and more. I dreaded the sessions. I'd get moody whenever it came up, and all in all, it was pretty terrible. Now, I should point out that this player was approached a time or two in the past. Maybe not as directly as we should have, but we did highlight for him that he was kind of a downer and that his character was pretty inconsistent. But anyway, fast forward to a specific session, I decided I had enough. I almost blew up on him mid-session. Almost. Instead, I just took a breath and paused for a moment, and that's when I decided that we could not play this game together anymore. Post-session, I wrote up a lengthy message for him explaining why I'm removing him from the game. I didn't send it. Instead, I slept on it, then I approached the other players the next day, and they all agreed they had my back on it because they felt the same way. After that, I sent the message through our group chat so everybody was involved. Essentially, I told him that he brings down the mood a bit too much and his playstyle doesn't seem to be working with the table as a whole. I reiterated that we had explained that to him before, but nothing really changed over the campaign. I then provided examples so he had a point of reference, and then I topped it off by saying, hey, we still love you as a friend, and we still want to play games together, but we just can't play this game together. At first, he accepted it gracefully and agreed that our playstyles were too different and that he just didn't much care for my style of GMing. Then in the wee hours of the following morning, he abandoned the group chat, and I haven't heard from him since. Now, if I had addressed it when I should have, then maybe we'd still be sharing memes. But here we are. So my point is, if you're not having fun, then stop. Life is entirely too short to waste it on not having fun with something, especially when it's supposed to be fun. It might not feel like it now, Nick, but that not having fun will build up and burst. It'll drag you down, and then you'll start dragging others down with you. And who knows, if you bring it up and address it, maybe everyone will find a whole new TTRPG that they love even more than 5e. Or maybe you'll just have to find a new group. And I will say this, finding a new group does not mean you aren't friends anymore. By finding a new group instead of doing something you find unenjoyable, I'd argue that you're strengthening your friendships. If you tell your friends that you're not having fun and you'd like to bow out, but they insist you stick around and get over it, well, you need new friends. Good friends will say they hate to hear it, but they will respect the decision because they want you to have a good time too. Maybe they'll even be willing to give your character a terrific send-off your way. So yeah, that's my 2 acorns on the matter. If anybody else has any other assorted nuts they'd like to throw in for Nick, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're not having fun, the sooner you do something about it, the better. Good luck, Nick.